Good afternoon, parents, grandparents, family members, friends, faculty, and fellow graduates. Before I begin my speech, there's something that I want to take care of first. During one 6th period sophomore Bible class, I became the very first person Mr. Hathorn ever sent out of his classroom to the office. Mr. Hathorn, I am very, very sorry for arguing with you. For the record, I think I'm still right, but I shouldn't have argued with you about it in class. That incident was not the first time, and it certainly was not the last time I argued with the teacher. Mr. Buckmiller, Mrs. Rajala, Mrs. Elliott, Mr. Sneed, and any other teacher who's had the unfortunate experience of having me sit in your classroom and argue with you, I am so very sorry. Now that I got that off my chest, I can begin. I cannot express how honored I feel to be standing up here in front of all of you today. I know it's common at graduation to thank those who have helped you get to where you are. First, I would like to thank my parents. Thank you for always pushing me to do my best and never letting me give up, even when I really wanted to. You always said I'd thank you for it someday, and as usual, you were right, because that day is today. I'd also like to thank Austin Vickers and Nathan Burkle for getting me through my science and math classes these last few years. Thank you for your patience when you had to constantly repeat concepts and equations over and over and over, each time dumbing them down just a little bit until I could finally understand it. Lastly, I'd like to thank SparkNotes and Google for getting me through Mrs. Rajala's research paper and every terrible group project Mr. Buckmiller ever assigned. Without these, I doubt I would be speaking to all of you today. This graduating class of 2013 is another one of those classes that people are going to talk about for years to come. We are simply amazing. I don't mean to brag, it's just that I'm really proud of who we are. We don't really have cliques, we get along so well, and we are really well-rounded. In this class alone, we have all of the professionals of the future. Doctors, lawyers, singers, veterinarians, mechanics, professional athletes, businessmen and women, artists, authors, fashion designers, actors, military personnel, engineers, pastors, teachers, and law enforcement officers. Sorry if I missed anybody. We are so versatile, yet we mesh together perfectly as a class. We really are one unified senior graduating class, and we will do big things. Once we move these tassels 4 inches to the other side of these ridiculous-looking hats and hold that tiny piece of paper that signifies 4 years of hard work, at least for some of us, a new chapter of our lives will begin. It's another chance to start fresh. If there's one thing that I've learned through these 13 years of school, excuse me, it's that you can use your mistakes to your benefit. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. It's that you can use your mistakes to your benefit. College will be hard, life will be hard, and we're going to face obstacles and make mistakes. But you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, do it the way your mother told you to. I am slowly but surely learning that this is always true. I love you. But they also say try, and try again. After all, the difference between try and triumph is just a little umph. Even those stumbles and hardships are a part of God's plan for your life. He will use those experiences to your benefit. Think of Joseph, who was abducted by his brothers, sold into slavery, put into prison, and then proceeded to become second in command over Egypt. God used his hardships not only for his own benefit, but for the benefit of thousands of other people. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose." In my own life, I know that this is true. Through every mistake that I've made, not studying for a test, procrastinating a huge project, or arguing with the teacher, again, I'm so sorry. He has been faithful to carry me through it and has helped me learn from those mistakes. In fact, all those times arguing with teachers, I realized that I actually really enjoy it. So I thought about it, career as an attorney. I found a way to learn from that mistake, turn it into a strength, and use it to my advantage. Even though we did argue often, I owe my teachers all the gratitude in the world for helping me figure out what God's plan is for my life. God promises to direct your steps, but in order for Him to do that, you have to keep your feet moving, even in the midst of your hardships. Class of 2013, I leave you with this. Are you going to let your mistakes keep you from God's plan, or are you going to learn from them and let God use those lessons to better your future? Now I'm going to shock Mrs. Rajala and actually use something that we learned in English class this year. One of my favorite works of British literature that we learned is a poem by William Ernest Henley called Invictus. The poem talks about how hardships will always exist, but no matter what you've been through, you have the power to steer your life in the direction God has planned. The last stanza of this poem reads, "It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." God is the real master and captain of my life, but the message still rings true. The situation does not dictate the outcome. Use those experiences, learn from them, and let the Lord use those lessons to better your future. Congratulations, class of 2013. After hundreds of tests and quizzes, countless hours of studying, a lot of projects, a ridiculous amount of essays, and a horrendous series of group projects, we finally did it. Thank you.